Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. Today we've got another video with the Savage 110 243 Winchester. Since the last video with this gun, I have stripped everything apart and bedded the action. It wasn't a perfect bedding job. I definitely know what I'm going to do differently next time, but that was kind of the point of doing this before the Remington 730-06. This stock is not very nice and it's semi-expendable. So I was glad to have this one to practice on, and now we're gonna go see how it shoots. Afterwards, I did make sure that the barrel was still free-floated. I had to do a little bit more work to prevent contact on one side of the barrel, but now it's free-floated all the way back to just in front of the barrel nut. And the barrel nut itself and the whole action are supported by bedding. I also replaced the trigger guard with a steel one from E. Arthur Brown Company, and that allowed me to torque down the action screws like I should without cracking the plastic trigger guard that was on here before. The loads we're going to be going with today are some of the same loads we shot in the last video. We're going to be shooting the 75 grain Sierra Varminter with 39 grains of IMR 4166, and then we're going to be shooting the 85 grain boat tail from Spear with 40 grains of Varget. Those were charge weights I shot in the last video. I know them to be safe in this rifle, and I've got 10 shots loaded up with each one of those charges. I will do 2 5-shot groups with each bullet, and we'll see where this gun is at. If it's still not shooting well by the end of this test, I'm gonna reevaluate some things and we may be replacing the barrel next. So yeah. Let's jump out to the range and see how it does. All right, folks, we're out on the range shooting the 243. See if that bedding job did us any good. I've got the ammo here on the bench. It is a nice, calm day. Well, there's a little bit of breeze, but not a ton. But a really nice day, about 65 degrees, a full 20 degrees cooler than it was just a couple of days ago when I was out shooting. We're just gonna take a few groups here and see if the bedding job did any good. I'm really hoping things improve. I do not have a target camera down there right now. I'm gonna take the first shot and make sure it's on paper before I set the camera up. I have moved the scope back absolutely as far as it can go. I may have to get a different mounting system for this rifle, but that's okay. Okay, I'm gonna have to go down range and see where that shot landed. Thankfully, we've got 10 shots of each load. Tell you what, real quick, I'll bore sight this. Make sure it's close. Okay, I'm gonna try that again. I can see some resin that got on the stock out here that I couldn't see inside. I'll have to clean that up a little bit. Okay, now I see where that bullet went. Wish I had a little more ammo, but that's all right. Okay, we're gonna shoot groups starting from right there. I'll go get the target camera set up and then we'll shoot for groups. We're going to start with the upper left target there, and I've got 3 rounds left to put in this group. My parallax is still adjusted out, hadn't touched that from the last time. Okay, I see where that shot's at. You guys can probably see my sling swivel from that angle, and it's nowhere near. Okay, I can't quite tell because of course things landed right on that black line, but that looks better, at least for 3 shots. We're gonna give the barrel a second to cool down and then we'll shoot a 5-shot group. I'm gonna come down 1 more minute so that I can see those shots easier from back here. All right, let's try for a 5-shot group and see what shakes out. That shot was on me. My grip slipped just a little bit and the trigger went off
before I meant it to. All right. Well, that looks like an inch group, or maybe just a little bit under, but that's a heck of a lot better than it shot last time. That's the first group after bedding. It was the best group shot with the rifle so far. I'm gonna call that a partial success anyway. We'll give a good cool down break, and we'll move on to the 80 grain soft point, or 85 grain, I think, Sierra boat tail. Spear boat tail. Gosh, I can't talk tonight. All right, let's try the spear boat tail. Okay, not too shabby. I'd say we got another inch group, or maybe a 1.1, 1.2. That's just guessing. I'm not measuring in the reticle or anything. Short little cool down. We'll shoot one more 5-shot group with that bullet. I'm not gonna touch where the scope's at. I'm just gonna leave it right there. All right, last group. Holy moly, that one was out. All right, and that didn't even try to group. Let's go back into the bench. All right, and let's have a look at these groups. So the first was only 3 shots, but we got 0.74. The second group, this is with the 75 grain varminter, was 0.85. Not too shabby there. The 85 grain spear shot maybe just a little bit better than it did last time. We got 1.09 inches. I was estimating 1.1 on that, and then 1.9 inches on this group. This opened way up. Yeah, that doesn't look a whole lot better. Here are the last groups to compare to. That varminter did shoot a 0.8 last time around, and it was trying to group before. What it looks like now is that it's maybe not throwing shots quite as wide. It's not throwing that one shot way outside the group, but we've only got these 2 groups to compare to, and this is only a 3-shot group. So is there really a difference? Oh, I guess I'll throw in the target from before from the 85 grain spear. I think we're gonna see, well, let's see, this group from before was 2.1 inches and this was 1.9. This was 1.8. This is the same charge at 40 grains. This was 1.8, and we got a 1.9 and a 1.09. So I really don't think that there's that big of a difference. We shot a smaller group for sure with this bullet after the bedding job, but again, with only two groups to compare, I really don't think there's much of a difference. So, unfortunately, at least with this little test, it doesn't look like bedding the rifle did a whole lot. Could I try a few different bullets and maybe get better results? Yes. Could I try different powders and maybe get better results? Yes. That might be what we try in the next video with this rifle. I may do the whole Gordon's reloading tool thing and run through and see if I can find an optimal powder. But what's nagging at the back of my mind is how terrible the inside of that barrel looks. So this gun, like I say, we may do a little more work with it and try to find a load it likes better, or it may be shelved until I can get a new barrel for it. And that's not going to be probably anytime soon. This is a project gun. It's not a rifle that I need for anything. It's really a gun that I got just to mess with on the channel. So when I can afford to, I may get a new barrel for it and we'll work for better results that way. Either way, I'm glad to have had the experience bedding this action. I learned some things along the way that I think are going to help when I go to bed the Remington 700. So it was certainly not a waste at all there. Thank you guys so much for watching. Y'all have a good one.